we're going to talk about causes of neurologic disease. At the core of almost all neurologic disease, whether we're talking about Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease, autism, traumatic brain injury, attention deficit disorder, anxiety, depression, at the core of all neurologic disease is free radical damage. The free radical damage contributes to an energy failure. The mitochondria in each of these 30 trillion cells in our body, and there's thousands of these mitochondria in every single cell, are the energy producing mechanism for the cells. The basic problem with neurologic disease is energy, free radical damage, and energy deficiency. So what causes the cause? So these are now the causes of the cause. Physical trauma, emotional trauma. That's what's called driving 2.5 hours on the 480 this morning. Those of you who came from the east side, I guess, had a nice trip. But those of us that came from the west side on the 480, I live 45 minutes from this facility. And it took me almost 2.5 hours to get here. That's called emotional trauma. Now, we can shield ourselves from that. We can't. That's one of the things I tell people when life begins at 50. You know, people come in and aging is one of those factors that cause disease, or we tend to have more diseases. But I say life begins at 50 because we've now learned certain lessons of life. And the lesson of life that we've really learned, hopefully by age 50, is that life isn't fair. Because as long as we think that life is fair, we are constantly frustrated with life. So emotional trauma, drugs, alcohol, obviously, chronic stress, which is part of the emotional trauma, environmental toxins, insecticides. I was just talking to a lady this morning who spent 9 years in the flower industry arranging. I didn't think that was such a bad industry until she described that they use insecticides and fungicides twice a week to preserve those flowers, or they wouldn't have pretty flowers. And these florists are constantly exposed as they set up these flower arrangements to those insecticides, fungicides, organochlorines, organophosphates, solvents, toxic metals, which we tend to emphasize, mercury especially in the teeth. Oxygen deprivation, of course, a stroke is what that's referring to, genetics, nutrient deficiencies. All of these are various causes, secondary causes of neurologic disease.